guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the final episode in exam week. In today's video we are going to be chatting about being scared to fail your exams slash feeling like a failure. The fear of failing is such a huge thing, and I think it's definitely something that a lot of people do feel, including me. I think when it comes to exams, we are scared of failing because we don't want to disappoint people and we don't want people to think of us differently. So like, we're scared of failing because we don't want to disappoint our parents, even if our parents haven't put any pressure on us. You know, you're worried of what your friends will think of you. Will they think of you differently if you get lower grades than they thought that you were gonna get? Are you worried about failing because then you won't be able to have the future that you'd planned for yourself, say go to the college or the uni that you wanted to go to, or do the career that you want? For me, I was so scared of failing, and I say failing, like failing is definitely a very broad term. Obviously you've got the literal definition of failing, whatever grade that is. That means you haven't passed your exam. And then you've got your own personal view of failure. So for me, if I was to get anything less than an A star or an A at GCSE, for me, that would be seen as a failure, which is absolutely ridiculous. I know, it's stupid. We seem to think that people will think less of us as a human being if we fail, but failure is such a key part to life. We seem to think that these GCSEs and these A levels define us as people, and yet it's giving you a grade at that point in your life, but it's only going to define you if you let it. I feel like a lot of the time we try and give excuses to justify the grades we got, or we try and like downplay it before the exam and say like, oh, there's no way I'm going to be able to get my predicted A star. Even if you think you do, you are so scared of like putting that out there and then other people seeing you not achieve it. However, the fear of failure can be overcome, and that is what this video is all about, how to face these fears and investigate them. And I'm going to start you off with a quote that I found when I was researching the subject, and that is, failure is an event, not a person. Tip number one is to identify the root cause. There is a reason deep down within you that you don't want to fail. Now for me, because I've had a lot of therapy, I've been able to sit down with a psychiatrist and pinpoint the exact moment in my childhood where this kind of all took place in my head. So from then on, I was scared to do anything wrong and scared to fail, because basically I thought everyone was gonna laugh at me. Throughout school, I was scared to put my hand up and say the answer, even if I knew it was right, but somehow my mind convinced me that, oh, it might not be right, because I didn't want to fail, I didn't want to get it wrong. So we need to look into why it is that you think you're gonna fail. And first of all, is the reason rational? If it is rational, and if it's the case that you think you're gonna fail because you've done zero revision, then fair enough. You have a reason to believe that you're gonna fail. It doesn't mean that you are, but you need to look at what you can do to resolve that situation. And the obvious answer to that is to revise. And you can refer to my previous videos on tips on how to revise when you feel anxious and depressed. If you're scared because you've done past papers and you haven't done well in them, then you need to look at what it is exactly that you need to improve on and study hard at that specific thing. If it is an irrational fear of failing and in actual fact you are revising, you're doing everything that you're supposed to do, then we need to basically disprove your rational thoughts. So for example, you might think that you're going to fail because you're sat there and you're trying to do your English revision and you've procrastinated. So you only have, say, 1 hour until you need to go to bed. Your mind can then start running away with itself and thinking, I'm going to fail because I haven't done enough revision. But who determines enough revision? Like, I know obviously there's like a standard that your school will probably give you on how many hours you should and you shouldn't be doing, but obviously everyone's different. And I feel like we put so much pressure on ourselves. We think all the time like, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. But who is actually setting these standards? It's you. Like, you set yourself unrealistic standards, and maybe once you realize I've only got an hour left, instead of panicking and then thinking, oh, I'm gonna fail, etc., it's better to just take a step back, calm yourself down, and then go in and be focused and do a power hour of revision. If you're going to be feeling more motivated on some days and not motivated on others, save your revision for the days that you're going to feel motivated. Like, just go with how you feel. Don't force yourself to do it all the time. And like I always say, it's important to take breaks and make time for yourself. Number 2 is to build up your confidence. The fear of failing usually comes about because you are not confident within your own abilities. So one of my favorite tips for this is to write down 10 things about yourself. This may take you a while. Like for me, I was like, oh God, like I don't like doing stuff like that because I'm generally not very kind to myself, but writing down 10 good things about yourself, have that on a piece of paper and stick it on your mirror, so every morning you're reading that out, or have it somewhere where you can read it, you know, before you go to bed or whatever. The act of actually doing this helps, but reading it every single day starts to get it into your brain that, you know, you might actually be an okay person and that you're not going to fail. Also, goes without saying, positive thinking. If you're thinking you're going to fail all the time, it is more likely to happen because it almost becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy, if you know what I mean. Like if you're constantly thinking, I'm going to fail, your actions are going to go that way. You're not gonna get as far as if you're thinking positively. So if you switch it over to the other side and start to think positive, even if you don't believe it, like this is the key, you do not have to believe these things you're saying to yourself. However, it will trick your brain if you're telling yourself, I've got this, I can do this, I'm gonna succeed in all my exams, and just visualize it, see yourself succeeding in those exams, and it, you know, your life is more likely to follow that path. Number 3, and this is what I said at the beginning, remember that failure is inevitable. We literally have to fail at things to grow as people, and as much as failure sucks and it is horrible, usually the general gist of what people say is that they are glad for their failures because otherwise they would never have learned. For me, I am glad that I went through such a shit period mentally because I would not be sat here making videos. So don't be scared of failure because it is natural. Number 4, remember that your thoughts are just thoughts. They cannot harm you. It is important to know that your thoughts are not facts. They are not always true, and you don't need to believe them, nor do you need to give them any attention. If your mind is going off and thinking that you're gonna fail exams, just let it let it go off and do its own thing and let it think that you're gonna fail. But that doesn't mean that you are. It's really useful to be able to practice techniques like mindfulness and just be in the moment and let your thoughts kind of do their own thing. One of my techniques that I always give is seeing your thoughts on a conveyor belt, you know, coming out, seeing the thought for what it is and just letting it kind of slide on along. And then finally, tip number 5, make sure you are putting the hours in. This goes without saying, like if you don't put the hours in of revision and studying, you're not gonna do as well in your exams. I don't know, is that kind of an obvious one? But just try and keep yourself as motivated as you can be. Refer to my other videos and just practice lots and do what you can and just try not to beat yourself up. If you're putting the hours in and you're doing it at a time when you feel motivated and when you are focused, then there's no reason that you will fail. So I really hope these tips have helped you. Know that you're not alone in this because a lot of people are scared to fail exams. A lot of people are scared to fail at anything in life. We've got to tackle those fears head on. So yeah, that concludes exam week. I really hope you have loved this series. I hope it's been helpful for you, and good luck really with your exams. I'm sending all my love. I'm always available on my socials if you need to get hold of me and ask me any further questions. I will see you on Monday for a brand new Mental Health Monday, not to do with exams. Goodbye!